Hello Ice and Fire Nerds, it's me again, Jaime of House Hernandez, and welcome to my Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 4 review, The Spoils of War. First off, I want to say that this is one of the best episodes in the entire series. I personally have it in my top 4, with Battle of the Bastards holding down the number 1 spot, and a 3-way tie for number 2 between this episode, Winds of Winter, and Hardhome. That being said, let's jump right in. We first start off in Winterfell, where this season continues to give us shoutouts to past seasons. Littlefinger presents the cat's paw blade as a gift to Bran. He explains to him how this blade was the blade that was meant to kill him, and how it started the War of the Five Kings. Bran then asked him, who did this blade belong to, all along knowing it belonged to Littlefinger's ass. They continue to exchange a few words, and Bran ends the conversation with, "Chaos is a ladder." This freaks Littlefinger out, since how in the world Bran would know this saying? If you guys aren't able to follow, Bran is quoting Littlefinger from back in Season 3 when he was in the Red Keep having a conversation with Varys.
Chaos is a ladder.
Now on to the most depressing part of this episode. Bran and Littlefinger's conversation is interrupted when Meera comes walking in. She tells Bran she needs to head home to be with her family when the War for the Dawn begins, and that he no longer needs her anymore. Bran, emotionless, agrees with what she says. Meera then loses it, and it's fucking heartbreaking. She reminds Bran of how many people lost their lives for him. But like he said before, he's no longer Brandon Stark. He's the Three-Eyed Raven now. She was right when she told Bran he died in that cave. I'm not gonna lie, I was kinda hoping for a Bran and Meera love story. I guess that idea just got thrown out the window. Wait, that was Bran. Anyways, let's continue. We then see our favorite babyface assassin, aka Arya Stark, arriving at Winterfell. When she arrives at the gate, she's met by Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They try to tell her to go fuck off, but after she does some convincing, she makes her way in. Sansa finds Arya in the crypts, paying her respects to their father. She asks Sansa, "Do I need to call you the Lady of Winterfell now?" To which Sansa responds, "Yes." After a short hug, Sansa tells Arya she shouldn't have run, to which Arya responds, "I didn't run. You need better guards." Arya then tells her how the title Lady of Winterfell suits her. Sansa then responds, "When Jon finds out, his heart will stop." You can clearly see this brings a smile to Arya's face. I'm hoping this time in Winterfell can help bring back some of the humanity back to her before she goes completely dark. They talk about Ned's statue and how it doesn't look like him, and how it should have been carved by someone who knew his face. To which Sansa replies with, "Everyone who knew Father's face is dead." Arya comes back with, "We're not." Then the subject of Arya's list comes up, to which Sansa plays it off like a joke. They mention how their paths have been very unpleasant to say the least. To which Arya finishes the conversation with, "Well, our stories aren't over yet." Sansa then tells Arya that Bran has returned home as well. They head to the Heart Tree where Bran is waiting for them. After a brief hug, Bran tells Arya how he saw her at the crossroads and how he thought she was heading to King's Landing. Arya asks him how does she know all these things, to which Sansa explains Bran has visions now. This tells us here that Bran isn't all-knowing. Once he leaves a vision, he would have to enter the vision again to see what happens next. So, he sees Arya at the crossroad, but leaves the vision before seeing her head back to Winterfell. Sansa then asks Arya, "Why were you heading to King's Landing anyways?" Which Bran answers, because Cersei's on her list of names. At this point, Sansa sees that Arya wasn't kidding around when she said she had a kill list. Sansa then asks, "Who else is on your list?" To which Arya answers, "Most of them are already dead." Bran then shows them the cat's paw blade that Littlefinger gave him. Sansa warns him that any gift from Littlefinger comes with a price. He really doesn't care though. He gives the blade to Arya. He tells her the blade is wasted on a cripple, and I'm sure he knows that she is meant to have it and it will serve some other purpose in the future. They all leave the God's Wood together and head back to the castle. Podrick and Brienne see the Stark children finally together again. Pod tells Brienne Catelyn Stark would be proud of her because she kept her vow. Brienne then says she hardly did anything, to which I agree with her. This scene ends with Littlefinger staring at the Stark children walking away towards the castle. I don't know why, but when I see the Stark children together, I think of the Winter is Here trailer when Sansa Stark says, "The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives." I have a feeling Littlefinger is going to try to break up this pack, but it's going to backfire on him badly. Next, we head down to Dragonstone, where Jon leads Daenerys and Missandei into the cave where the dragonglass is. He tells them they will have all the dragonglass they will ever need, and boy, he wasn't wrong. Dany is in awe by the amount of dragonglass there is, but Jon has something else he wants to show her. He takes her further into the cave where they come to a cavern with ancient cave drawings done by the Children of the Forest. You can see very similar symbols from the show all over the cave walls. Jon then shows Dany the Children of the Forest and the First Men work together to fight their common enemy, the White Walkers. Dany begins to look worried and starts to believe. Jon then tells her he cannot defeat them without her help. Dany agrees to help once he bends the knee. Jon then replies, the Northerners will never bow down to a Southern ruler again. Dany then says they will if their king does. You can clearly see the show is trying to build up the tension between these two, and I see a love story brewing. Then we head back to Winterfell, where Arya has a training session with Brienne. This is where we see how much of a badass Arya has become. The Faceless Men clearly trained her how to fight, and we missed out on all of it. She goes all Neo on Brienne, dodging all of her swings. The fight goes back and forth while Sansa and Littlefinger look on. The fight ends in a draw, to which Brienne asks Arya, where did you learn to fight like that? Arya gives the best answer, no one. Sansa then walks away with a concerned look on her face, knowing that Arya is now a badass and that she can kill pretty much anyone. Finally, we see Jaime, Bronn, and Lord Tyrell on the King's Road. Lord Tyrell informs Jaime that all the gold has made it safely back to King's Landing. We then see Jaime and Bronn talking to Rickon, right before Bronn hears something concerning. In a panic, Jaime has the Lannister army form a wall, and before they know it, the Dothraki are on them, and they didn't come alone. I'm glad the show got to show how badass the Dothraki are. These people are supposed to be fearless warriors and master horsemen, as shown here standing on their horses and shooting their bow and arrows. This isn't a battle at all. Dany and Drogon lay waste to pretty much everything. Drogon burns all the supplies they were bringing to King's Landing, and we can finally see the true power of Dragonfire. While Drogon is laying waste to everything, Jaime tells Bronn to grab Qyburn's scorpion. He lowers the scorpion and aims it right at Drogon. Bronn hits the dragon on the shoulder, causing him to fall. Tyrion looks on in terror, watching Dany fall with Drogon. Right before Drogon hits the ground, he regains himself and lays waste to the scorpion. When he lands, he smashes it one more time for good measure. Dany then dismounts Drogon and tries to remove the spear that was lodged in him. While this is happening, Jaime decides to grow some balls and go all kamikaze to kill Dany. Tyrion looks on and calls Jaime a fucking idiot, which he's right to do so. Right before Jaime gets to Dany, Drogon turns his head to protect his mother and gets ready to cook his ass. Bronn then grabs Jaime and jumps into Blackwater Rush right before Drogon blasts his fire. The battle sequence was absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see what Dan and Dave have up their sleeves. Please stay tuned for some more Game of Thrones videos next week, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe buttons below. Thank you again, and I will see you guys soon.